a hot mic moment. Trump whispering to Macron. He says, I think Putin wants to make a deal. Trump whispered to Macron in the newsroom. I think he wants to make a deal for me. You understand that? As crazy as it sounds. Now that is crazy. I don't think Putin wants to make a deal for Trump, but maybe there's more context or something. Make a deal for me. I don't know. Maybe he's just saying we have a trusting enough relationship that he's willing to make a deal with America for me. Surely he's not just like he loves me and thinks my eyes are pretty.
I guess it could be any of that. But
I know I'm an optimistic fella, but I just hope that he's not just. I don't know. I think the bartender likes me.
Like the AI videos of them dancing would actually be true. Yeah.
Welcome to Loaded Talk. I am your congressman, the third most popular candidate to ever be. I am Frank, and along with me, as always...
What's up, planet Earth? I'm Bean.
The Beanernator. Beano for digestive health. Yeah.
All right. That was different.
Thank you. I was just listening to Ralph Barbosa, the comedian's doing a press tour. I guess he has a YouTube channel now called Formula Bean, and it's him and his other Mexican buddy, and they do car stuff. They'll put an LS1 engine into something, Yeah, so it's a lot of I guess he's gotten addicted to buying Facebook Marketplace cars and then fixing them.
LS swapping them. That's great.
Apparently he's big into LS swapping.
That's great.
So he's a funny guy. So I don't know, you might be into that as a car fellow yourself there.
Nice.
Maybe Bean can be a guest on Formula Bean. That would be beanfully delicious.
Lots of beans.
Lots of beans. Well, so even though last week... Oh, you know what? I was right last week. I think I said I'd see you next Tuesday at the end, and today it's Tuesday.
Whoa.
See that? Nostrafrancus again. Again, I'm always right, even when I don't know that I'm being right. You're welcome, people. So even though that was Thursday, we've had a very eventful couple of days here. So we're going to get to kind of some of the most consequential headlines for the globe, which of course is the Trump-Putin summit in Alaska, and then everything that kind of came from there. But first, we're going to start with a little news story that didn't get a lot of press. It's starting to get a little bit more attention. This is from the Charlie Files, the Philo Beans, about Ped-O-Files. We could have a segment where we just do a news thing. It's welcome to the Ped-O-Files. I don't think I want that.
Second thought, no.
That would be dark. I don't like it. All right. So this fellow, Tom Artyom Alexandrovich, age 38, is a senior Israeli government official serving as the acting head of data and AI, and sometimes referred to as executive director for Israel's National Cyber Directorate, an agency operating directly under Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office. He is also a veteran of the IDF, apparently. So he was in Vegas for this thing called the Black Hat Conference. It's a cybersecurity conference. It makes sense when you're in that world to go to such things. Probably not quite as awesome as DEF CON, but probably won't get your phone hacked as quick either. Who knows? But while he was in Vegas, he started chatting on the internet, and he talked to a 15-year-old. Do they say gender? Because I keep thinking they never said gender. A 15-year-old. It doesn't matter, really. Either way, wasn't a 15-year-old. It was a cop. And so instead of going to meet up with a nice American teenager while in town from another country, our greatest allies, he met up with the cops and got arrested and hit the clink, right? Apparently, during the process, he admitted he was not there on official duty. It was in personal, capacity to learn more about his industry. He did not have a diplomatic visa, And but he did say I work for the Israeli government and I should talk to my consulate. I should talk to my family. So they go, okay, fine, you're going to jail while you wait. Apparently he had a bond set of $10,000, and he posted said bond, and then he got right back to Israel because no part of bail said we need to take his passport or anything like that. So he was like, well, I gotta go. Now, it's interesting when Netanyahu's people were asked, or I guess the administration in Israel was asked, because they said, that they downplayed his role in the government altogether, which is less than accurate. I would classify it not entirely truthful in its merits, perhaps untruthful. The truth got stretched more than taffy over the summertime at the shore. Anyway, run that into the ground. But yeah, so they're like, this guy who was a contractor in his independent capacity went over there, and he kind of works with the government or whatever. I don't know, but he was questioned, detained for a minute, but then they let him go. No big deal. Bada bing, bada boom. See you later. So what are your thoughts on this, Charlie?
Well, I believe they actually called him a staff member.
That's right, staff member. Yeah.
To generalize it. He didn't claim diplomatic immunity,
Which he didn't have, so good thing.
Yeah, but odd though that he was able to conveniently still make his flight. Like the timing worked out well. He was, like you said, he posted bond real quick and made his way back home as planned.
Now, do we know? I didn't see. Was it as planned, or did he buy a different ticket and get back faster?
I don't know that. I just know that they said something about he came back as planned, whatever that means.
Yeah, I don't know. I know if I was in a foreign country and I went to jail for anything, and I got out of that jail for any reason, and I don't care when my flight was booked, I would be on the next flight home. I'd be like, you know what? I'm done with this country. Glad I'm not locked up abroad. That show.
Yeah, I'm assuming that the plane ticket, if that's the case, was purchased at the same time the bond was sent.
Probably pretty soon, yeah. Now, the thing about this, in addition, fair or not fair, anything that happens with Israel does get a little extra spice to it, There's a lot of conspiracy theories. Maybe some of them have more merit than others. When it comes to Israel and nefarious things, there's a lot of weird conspiracy theories out there that center around children abuse. So when you have a member of a foreign government in town attempting to abuse children, it's not a good look. Now...
and no other people, the other 7 people that were arrested in the sting operation were of no significance.
Yeah, let's see.
It was very interesting.
Let's see, where are the names here? That was on your deal. Here we go. We got David Wanacott Yankee, 40, which that sounds like an interesting name. Jose Alberto Perez Torres, 35. Aniket Brajesh Kumar Sadani, 23. James Ramon Reddick, 23. Ramon Manuel Para Valenzuela, 29. Neil Harrison Creasy, 46. And John Charles Duncan, finally. That's an easy one, 49. Good old American pervert. That's the way Uncle Sam likes them. But yeah, I mean, now, I don't think it would be unusual for a pervert, for someone to be attempting this sort of nefarious thing to not be doing so with compatriots. It's in most circles it's frowned upon, and most places it's illegal, and if you're on an excursion and you think whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, you can kind of dip out and do whatever. I guess you try. But what did you find interesting about the other people not being interesting in the arrest report?
It just seemed very. I mean, it was odd and random. I'm not saying that people of official or diplomatic status or not diplomatic status
right.
should be untouchable or shouldn't be in these situations, period. But it was just kind of random.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem random. It could just be some nerd pedo fella that was all hopped up on Vegas booze and maybe a little booger sugar and said, I'm going to find myself a little sweetheart. The thing that popped to mind for me when this story came up is, unfortunately for the nation of Israel, they do have a bit of a tradition when it comes to shielding pedos. Now, you can call it a loophole, and perhaps it is a loophole, but it has been working for decades, since the 80s. There are groups led by, I don't know if they're Israeli, but there's definitely, concerned Jewish folks about this loophole, so it's not like some sort of anti-Semitic group of people pointing fingers. It's people trying to police from within. It's a particular problem amongst the ultra-Orthodox circles more than anything else. But basically, there is Israel's law of return. And so that grants citizenship to individuals with Jewish heritage, often with minimal scrutiny or criminal backgrounds, allowing fugitives to quickly gain citizenship and resist extradition, because Israel generally does not extradite its own citizens, leading to prolonged legal battles. So what happens is you get pinched, maybe you get charged, or maybe you get some questions asked at your door one day, and you go, that's not good, I'm guilty, or, presumed innocent. But I imagine if you're innocent, you wouldn't think about fleeing the country. And so you file some paperwork. You go, hey, how about it? And you get the paperwork back. They go, yeah, come on over. Like, welcome home. Welcome to the bosom of Israel. Welcome to BB's bosom. Working title. So anyway, you go, okay, cool. And you go over there, and you move to wherever, Tel Aviv or somewhere. I hear Tel Aviv's nice, so anytime I think about it, I go, probably Tel Aviv's where to go. But anyway, go over there, get a place, kind of lay low or whatever. And then at some point, especially if charges have been filed already, at some point the U.S. government reaches out and they go, hey, we want that guy. And Israel goes, whoa, that's an Israeli citizen. They go, hey, man, it's American citizen. They go, Israeli citizen. And so there's, unfortunately, been, Jewish Community Watch estimates there could be over 60 cases in the U.S. alone since the 1980s, but it's also been an issue in Australia and other Western nations. There's been a few examples that ChatGPT pulled up. A lot of these cited by CBS. Not ChatGPT. This is Grok. I apologize to Elon Musk. But here's an example of one guy. So, Avraham Mundrowitz from Brooklyn. He was indicted on 8 counts of child abuse, 5 counts of sodomy involving boys aged 9 to 15 in 1985, and alleged abuse of hundreds in the 1980s. Okay? So, in 1984, just before the arrest warrant was served to him, he fled the country. He was eligible under the law of return, and he gained Israeli citizenship upon arrival. I guess showing up. I guess it's one of those things. They go, hey, how Jewish are you? You go, so Jewish. They say, come on in. They go, let me check those curls. Yep, that's good bounce right there. Come on in, fella.
They got some gauge they're using to measure it.
That is not proper bounce on a curl. But it says In 1985, the U.S. requested extradition from our greatest ally. And in 2007, so 22 years apart, we made a request to extradite this monster. He was arrested in Israel in 2007, which is probably what reminded America he existed. But then released in 2010 after Israel's Supreme Court ruled against extradition due to statute of limitations. Oh, okay. So I don't think he was arrested on something separate. I think he was arrested by Israel for the purposes of extradition. He did a challenge in court. Supreme Court said, yo, you can't do that. It was 22 years ago or whatever, or 25 years ago. It doesn't count anymore. Those kids are fine, I'm sure. And so he continues to live in Jerusalem.
It doesn't count.
It's like statute of limitations is up. Those kids are they're like 34 now. They probably haven't been haunted for a lifetime.
It's like it never happened.
No, I mean that long ago they probably have very reasonable relationships with their friends, family, and loved ones. They probably have formed a romantic bond without any issues whatsoever. Anyway, he's fine. So he's still living in Jerusalem without issue. Now there are some cats. This woman's a monster. This is Australian. Malka Leifer, Leifer, charged with 74 counts of child abuse and rape of girls at her school. She ran a school in 2008. She was... anyway, she got busted because she apparently was she was a monstrous headmaster that was just terrorizing these girls.
That's crazy.
Yeah. She was Australian. She already had Israeli citizenship via birthright. Oh, she was Israeli born, lived in Australia as dual citizen already. So she fought. So in 2008, arranged before she could get arrested, she bolted. So she's fought extradition for 13 years with support from Israeli officials, then extradited to Australia in 2021, convicted on 18 counts in 2023, and sentenced to 15 years, which is something. It seems like it's more than you get in America, But so for 13 years, first of all, for years, she preyed on the school. But then for over a decade, she is able to live free in wherever in Israel, with the protection of the Israeli government, with Australia actively trying to say, hey, she's a monster. Let us just give her a court date. It's not like we're sending her to, a firing squad in some country. It's not like, I don't know, the Republic of Congo is like, we promise a fair trial. It's just like, all right, no, send her back. But, eventually she got sent back. So, you could say, sometimes the system works, I guess.
Eventually.
Eventually is kind of the thing. I think this is somebody. So this other guy, he got caught. This is an interesting one. Okay. Is this the right guy? Okay, yeah, here it is. Jimmy Julius Cairo from Oregon, who's accused of assaulting a 9-year-old girl in 2000, later charged in Israel with the rape and sodomy of another child starting at age 5. That's horrible. In 2000, before he was apprehended, he converted to Judaism and somehow used the law of return to gain citizenship.
So now you don't even need to have Jewish background at all.
No.
You could just convert.
Yeah, you could be Anna Paulina Luna, who does say she's a skosh Jewish, though her father's father was a military man in World War II.
Huh. Okay.
For Germany. So
awkward.
Yeah. Her real name's like Meyerdorf or something like that on her dad's. But she started saying her dad, once he kicked drugs or something, going to temple or something really helped. And I guess there's some flavor of Christianity that's heavily influenced by the Old Testament and some Jewish traditions. I've never heard of it. I guess it exists. I don't know. I've never heard of it.
I think all Christianity.
All Christianity is, but apparently there's just one type that is I don't know, they do some Jewish traditions in there too or something. Okay. I don't know. She makes a lot of stuff up. But she does. But she's like, I think I'm a skosh Ashkenazi Jew too. And it's like, well, your mom's like half German, half Mexican. Your dad's German. And and your grandpa was technically, literally, a Nazi. And the family goes, it was just kind of a situation. He was forced to do it, and you go, all right, if you're in Germany as a young man, you join the military to be patriotic, and then all of a sudden this other fella takes over, and you're in the army or the Air Force or whatever, and it's just like, well, we have a new guy in charge. It's not like you signed up for all the Nazi beliefs. It's just like, well, now you're in the Nazi army. So either way, I would say more Nazi than Jewish if I had to. If I just give percentages,
Right.
just percentages, I'd say about, at least 25% Nazi, and I don't know. Percentage Jewish, I'm willing to bet sub 1%.
Right.
It's 23andMe, this Pocahontas. Either way, this guy, so he converts, but the thing is, in 2002, so 2 years after he goes over there, and he basically gets away with it, well, he gets caught for a separate incident in Israel. And so he served time there. And then 2019 again? And then they're still he still hasn't been extradited to America. He's been arrested a couple times in Israel for doing these same things. America's like, just give them to us. And they're like, nah. Anyway, it goes on and on. There's lots and lots and lots. But one thing I forgot about, because apparently you don't even have to be. Some people leave before they're charged. If there's not a case yet, you just leave. You can definitely get out. Do you remember director of X-Men, Mr. Bryan Singer?
Yes.
Remember his accusations?
Yep.
They're like, hey, that dude's been having like wild gay bang parties, and there's definitely teenagers, not 18, but teenagers at those parties. As young as 14 to 17 is the accusation, including coercion and abuse, blah, blah, blah. Since the 90s, intensified 2014, 2019, which is when he got more power and affluence, or influence, and affluence. But, he was more of a big deal director, so now he's in Hollywood. Now he's make or break your career, so he gets to play that guy. But he's still preying on young teenage boys and, whatever. And so that was something they were going to look into. And so in 2019, he was like, I'm heading to Israel. And he did. And he got his citizenship. He's over there. No criminal charges have been filed in America, so, probably statute of limitations, stuff like that. A lot of civil cases going on. But he just lives full-time, or I don't know full-time, but he lives in Israel as a citizen, planning movies, making movies. And, I don't know. He probably, as long as he doesn't step back in America until the statute of limitations is over, I bet you just don't have to worry about filing charges, because you think about a prosecutor's office in California, for that matter, in Hollywood, or wherever you live. But these Los Angeles prosecutors, San Francisco, and all that, they're so light, especially on these child abuse things. They're already so light on people anyway. Now you get a famous guy who is on your team politically, and then it's like, all right, well, can we convict? It's like, hell, he's not even in the country. Well, that's going to be very hard to bring a case against him. So, maybe a couple of cops have a file ready. But, if the prosecutor isn't going to prosecute, you don't have a case, So there's only so much time, so many resources. And so, I don't know. I think he's just generally, if I was him, I imagine you just kind of stay off American soil until, I don't know what statute of limitations is for this sort of thing, but I have a feeling it's going to be a shockingly short amount of time, because that seems to be the way our judicial system works. All right. So that's what came to mind when you were sending me that stuff about the old tech guy, is I just don't like, it's one thing to say, all right, it's a weird citizenship loophole, Especially, so a nation like Israel, where it's like, it forms through, in contemporary times, it forms through UN paperwork, basically, and goes, hey, we're going to follow these rules. Here we go. We formed a country. And the deal is we want to have a safe place for Jewish people to live. Of course, all are welcome, blah, blah, blah. But especially after what has happened with World War II and with this and with that, we just want a safe place so it can be a Jewish state where everyone's safe once more, instead of our people being spread all over, yada, yada. And so they go, okay, and so because of that, if you are a Jewish person, you're a citizen with us, which also is very helpful when you're trying to recruit wealthy people to help you build a country from scratch, You go, hey, good news, millionaire, you're a citizen too. Well, look at me, I'm international.
And if you're not Jewish, come on over.
As long as you convert. I'm thinking old, whatever his name. I don't think he had the full conversion process. There's there's not a lot of Jewish people that go, hey, why don't you convert? It's easy, Convert to Methodist. Easy. You just go, I'm Methodist now. And they go, yeah, it's like, come to church for a little bit. We'll throw some water in your face and give you a cookie. And you go, okay. How about something to drink? It's like, we got wine. It's like, perfect. A couple more steps for Judaism. But yeah, it's like, so I guess it could be that easy to convert. But the problem is, and I understand, you got your laws. You go, we protect our people. We don't extradite them because, especially when, think back to like Nazi Germany and stuff like that, or perhaps just the mere, being a Jewish person and I don't know, running a business or not paying 100% taxes or whatever. You're a criminal now. You need to extradite them, and so you have code in there. We go, calm down. If it's an Israeli, we don't extradite a lot, and America, I assume, has that same policy. I hope we're not willy-nilly sending people around, to be honest. But it does seem like a lot of people are using it for the exact same sort of crime and getting pretty dang good official protections.
That's what's running through my mind. It's like we're reading about abuses and the sorts, but can I just go rob a bank and be like, oh, I'm Jewish, see ya?
Yeah, I don't know. That is something. When we start talking on the next one, type in a grok here and ask if there's been other sorts of crimes where people have used the return. Was it return?
Return, yeah. Israel.
Israel's law of return. Yeah, like what other crimes have been used, or have people used other crimes or? Yeah, people use Israel's law of return to get out of other crimes outside of assaults. But yeah, it is one of those things that it seems like there's a lot of official protection that is a bit much, and I would hope that if a U.S. citizen went to France or Israel for that matter and diddled a bunch of kids. And when it was requested, like, hey, why don't you... It's like, hey, this person, here's our case. Because, government to government. Here's our case. They did all these kids. All we want you to do is send them back here so you can stand trial. Especially if it's your greatest ally. Like, once again, not like, it's going to be a fair trial. But like, so you go, oh, yeah, we know your systems. Your systems are good. I would hope U.S. would send them over. Or her, because that Australian woman. It's not all. The females are the crazier ones in my book. I mean, I don't know. Like, guys are gross, and it's not good, and they're definitely not good. It's just weird when a woman does it. It just seems all the more twisted.
Is it? I mean, because they're more under the radar, I guess.
I just because guys are gross perverts in general, right? You got the
that's fair,
just generally speaking. Like, I'm talking about legally above board, all that kind of stuff. There's the testosterone, the natural need to procreate and spread our genes and all that kind of stuff. And so like it's just it can be more. I don't know what, but just more of a male thing, it just seems like. And so, like, women, they tend to be more nurturing. It tends to be more about love. Now, granted, there's hoes and there's all this kind of stuff. And, of course, modern women can blah, 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 blah. But, just generalizing. So it's just weird when they're, like, predatory in that regard. Oh, do we have new crimes?
Oh, yeah, we do.
What do we got?
Oh, we got murder.
Oh, yes, there are documented instances of individuals leveraging to do it, to flee. This often exploits, that's fine. Common crimes include murder, fraud, money laundering, frequently involving U.S. or Russian nationals.
Huh.
Advocacy and media reports highlight concerns that this creates a safe haven loophole, prompting occasional diplomatic tensions, calls for extradition. Oh, man, what do we got?
Money laundering. Huh.
What's the implication, Charlie?
Huh. This just sounds very familiar.
So Samuel Scheinbein, he murder and dismemberment of Alfredo Enrique Tello Jr.
Jesus.
Extradition denied by their Supreme Court. Tried and convicted in Israel.
Whoa.
Sentenced to 24 years. Killed in a prison shootout while serving time.
Dang.
He got
Samuel.
So how do you get tried in Israel? Did he do another crime?
Named Israel sentenced to his father, eligible under law to return. Israel recognized him.
A Russian conspiracy to murder. Yep. They did an extradite to Russia. Money laundering. Lives in Israel and self-exile. That's nice. I would like self-exile. I want to do that all the time. Mail bombing. That's a fun one. So they got extradited in 93. They must have sent mail to the fatal letter bomb to a secretary?
Oh my God.
Okay. Yeah, we got fraud, murder, money laundering. Yeah, okay. So it's not just the perverts. It's all sorts of criminal elements, which is great. I don't know. I don't know what to do with this info. Like, there's just people, status unclear. No
that last guy, late 1998, jumped bond.
Oh.
So keep going. Status unclear. No immediate extradition report as of 99. That dude disappeared.
Yeah. Money laundering, multi-million-dollar scheme linked to Israeli mob and Colombian cocaine cartels in 98.
CIA.
Jump bond. Returned on an El Al flight. So, or Mossad.
That dude disappeared.
Yeah. He was just like, here I go. And I guess United States, Miami. Yeah, you don't say. Money laundering. Yeah, so.
Wow.
Between the Israeli mob and the Colombian cocaine cartels, I would say that he is laundering money right now. If I had to guess what he's up to, he's probably doing cocaine on the beaches of Israel with some fly honeys and laundering money. If I had to guess. I don't know. That would be my guess. Or a heart attack, where the mob took him out because he embezzled money. I don't know. It could be anything. But they'll probably never find his body one way or the other. Maybe a new name, too.
Play on, player.
Play on, player. All right. So, I don't know. That was just... it sent me down a bit of a rabbit hole, that fellow's arrest. Okay. All right. So the other big thing, of course, is the Trump-Putin summit. So this thing, I forgot to arrange my stuff. So this thing was basically first steps in peace talks, right? Trump talked a lot in the lead up to it about ceasefire and all that. The idea is peace, right? Ceasefire is like, hey, maybe I'll stop fighting. We can get together. We can talk about peace. Israel and Gaza, the ceasefires happen constantly, and then they undo constantly, and it's 90 days. It lasts for 90 hours, whatever. So ceasefires are somewhat meaningless. I think Trump got Putin and Ukraine to agree to ceasefires earlier in his term. And they go, all right, it starts in like 72 hours. And everyone's like, fire missiles! and they're just. And remember how ticked Trump was? Like, when we talk about ceasefire, I mean, give him hell. And like, he was just ticked off at both of them. All right, that's an update. I want to see. No, that's a fun one. So one of the things I find interesting is everybody's pretty negative about this. But here, let's just start with a little NPR, the booming news network NPR. That'll definitely be here for a long time to come. This is titled A Chess Game. Trump gears up for Alaska Summit with Putin. Get out of here. I'm not going to donate to you. The Kremlin and the White House have both confirmed that President Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump will meet one-on-one in Alaska on Friday before expanding talks to their delegations. Summit starts, 3:30 Eastern. I don't know why they had to do that to me. According to the Kremlin, speaking of Fox News, let's see. Trump called the talks like a chess game, framing them as a setup for a possible follow-up meeting between Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to, quote, make a deal. There'll be give and take to boundaries, lines, etc. This meeting sets up a second meeting, but there's a 25% chance that this will not be a successful meeting. So Trump goes in going, hey, 1 in 4 shot this goes bad. Trump said Putin's visit to the U.S. signals he's interested in ending his war in Ukraine and credited their personal rapport. While doubtful of an immediate ceasefire, Trump said he expects one to come. I thought that said expects him. Okay, anyway. Trump said he expects one to come and floated Alaska as a potential location for the second summit, though he backed off when pressed on whether he had asked Zelensky to be ready to quickly join them in Anchorage. I don't want to talk about a second meeting, even to him, I don't. I don't even want to indicate there might be a second meeting. Well, you've been talking about him. Earlier in the day, Moscow President Putin gathered his top advisors and thanked the Trump administration for his sincere efforts to broker peace and even raised the possibility for a new arms control deal. He kept silent, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. So they asked some people in Russia what they think of the meeting. So this, I assume a chick in Siberia, hopes that it brings an end to the fighting, but only after Russia meets its military goals, because Siberians are tough. She also said she saw no reason for Ukrainian President Zelensky to be included. The leaders of two big countries are meeting. Why should a small, poor country like Ukraine dominate the discussions? It's like, dang, that girl. Anyway.
They're not poor anymore, though. We sent them all our money.
Yeah, I mean, there is a good point there. So this is just... to NPR's credit, this is a pretty matter-of-fact breakdown of what was about to happen, right? The thing is, in the lead up to it, everything was stupid. So they go, they're going to meet in Anchorage, which is America, at a military base, which is also America. It's where we have things that go pew-pew at non-Americans, typically. Obama was good at aiming them at Americans. Things happen. But, so they go, Putin, or Trump going to Alaska to meet up with Putin. That's a Putin win. And then people on the right go, hey, Trump got Putin to meet him in America. That's a Trump win. And everybody's stupid. Like, we're talking about high stakes negotiation to end a war, a hot war where people are dying. Even if you're negotiating a business thing or whatever, you meet somewhere. You go, hey, let's meet at my office at 12. And they show up, you don't go, sucker, score one from me. little hoe. Like some people play these mental games, right? Non-serious people that are just like, I don't know, I can think of a little rage-fueled man from Miami that would probably try to play these sorts of things, but anyway. But looking at everything through that spectrum, you go, hey, how about we focus on the fact that the president of Russia is willing to come to America. That's him voluntarily making a concession. So you can say, Trump won, but it's like, hey, actually, we all won, because he goes, yeah, I'll come over and meet you there. I'm not going to make a stink about it. And then we went to Alaska because we go, hey, we'll make it convenient for you. So it's like, I'm willing to come to you. You come to me. Alaska, it's pretty close. That seems pretty good. I think that's called compromising and coming up with a good place for everybody. And so Trump won, Putin won, and everybody got owned. It's like, hey, that's just a positive.
Right.
Like, if we couldn't figure out a meeting spot, like, holy cow, we got a long way to go. And, like, the fact that Putin is willing to go, I trust you will keep me safe in an American military base, that you're not just going to shoot me in the head or arrest me or something, that this is a good faith negotiation. I think that's positive. And all these people on the internet, all these journalists and stuff that were talking about whether it was a Trump win or a Putin win, y'all are all immature idiots with no life experience. Like, pull your heads out of your butts. It was just setting up a meeting, and it was two people, thankfully acting like adults, saying that sounds like a fine place to meet. Not super convenient for either, but convenient enough, mutually agreed.
Yeah, synergistic convenience.
There you go, or inconvenience.
Or, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the goal is to end the war, not to who pisses the farthest.
I know. And it's like, so that was something in the lead up to it, right? And they go, oh, Trump's already lost. He's already kissing Putin's butt. And you go, well, I don't know how, like, what's coverage of this thing going to be like, you know? So.
Russian asset.
Russian asset, of course. Which, of course, has been so thoroughly disproved. I mean, outside of him being the best spy in the world, which everyone knows Trump's strength is keeping his mouth shut and not saying all the things. Like, and like, the other thing about it, imagine that Trump cares that much about Russia, that's his priority. Not that he cares so much about himself, and that himself and his name and his legacy is his priority, which seems to match reality a little bit better, right?
If Trump cared about Russia as much as he cared about himself, he would literally be a Russian doll. He would pop open and there would be another Trump inside.
Just spooning himself all over.
And then you pop that one open and it's another Trump.
And then the next one?
And it's another Trump.
That's interesting. At the bottom is that baby Trump from Pink Floyd concerts. I did see somebody post something on Twitter. It was like, you know, what's happening at the summit right now? And they basically did animations of a baby Trump and a baby Putin, like ninja fighting. Like, just, you know, it's like this thing. But I found myself just watching it being like, all right. I gotta watch these two babies fight all day. MSNBC, and of course, they're gonna have a long run as number one. Oh, actually, they're going to be gone.
Or MS Now. Oh,
They soon will be MS Now.
right.
Not now. Not now, MS Now.
Not
soon.
yet?
Soon.
Okay.
Soon now.
Okay.
But not now. I mean, yes, now, soon.
But soon now.
Soon now, yes. Now, no. Clear?
Crystal clear.
Oh, did you see what it stands for, too?
Yeah, I did. Yes. Yep.
My source, news, opinion, world.
Yes.
My source. And why not put in, like, my source 4? The 4 doesn't, you don't, it's FOR. You don't have to give it a letter in your acronym. My source 4, news, opinion, world.
Ooh.
You know?
I like it.
One little word, but they went, we don't have the money for that. And that's the thing. They're going to rebrand it. I think rehire everybody and then sell it, because they're still going to have NBC News under their holdings, under their umbrella. So NBC News will still remain Comcast or whoever owns it right now. Who owns it? Is it Comcast? Is it CNN? CNN's Discovery. Yeah. So, yeah, under that Comcast thing, they'll still have NBC News. So anybody that's like anybody that stays with MS now will basically lose their job with NBC. So anybody that's good, according to them, they'll probably take over to the NBC News side, and then anybody that remains is going to get sold to whoever. Elon Musk joked about buying them, but I don't see that happening. Who knows what they're going to sell? Who knows? I mean, somebody will buy it. I don't know. I don't know who though. I've got like you want the lowest rated of the three majors. Like I wonder how they do compared to Newsmax. You know, like they do worse than CNN and they do worse than Fox. And like Rachel Maddow, I think has decent ratings. I think that's the only one. But overall, as a network, I wonder if they do better than like what's that News Nation?
Yeah.
Is Newsmax still a thing, or is that News Nation? What's the other one? Maybe Newsmax is the other one. I don't know. Anyway, those things that like Matt Gaetz and those people go to work for. I wonder who has better ratings between them. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Someone, I guess, is going to need to offset profits.
Yeah, I was going to say, who's got money burning in their wallet?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll just buy it to... Do they get the... I mean, I guess if you get the cable positioning, maybe you can just put whatever you want in there. You know who should buy it? Is Jim Henson Studios. They can put Sesame Street and all their stuff on there. Make bank. I think they should buy the PBS app. That's what I think. Like, Sesame Street people, maybe team up with Mr. Rogers people or whatever. They got that Daniel Tiger, you know. But, like, just buy the app and then license to the other people. And just say, hey, we don't make PBS. It's Jim Henson Studios now. Elmo's in charge. Elmo's in charge, bitch. Don't make me have to slap you. Okay. Anyway, back to the important news. So MSNBC, the powerhouse of media, this is their headline. Why Trump's summit with Putin was doomed from the very beginning. All right, we won't read all of this, but Trump flew to Alaska hoping he could pull a diplomatic rabbit out of his hat, although he kept his expectations low and described the high-stakes summit with Putin as a way to determine whether Moscow was committed to participating in serious peace process to end the war in Ukraine. It was clear from the get-go that Trump wanted to leave the meeting with some sort of ceasefire in hand. I won't be happy if I walk out without some form of ceasefire, he told Bret Baier. If those were Trump's true feelings, then he must have been sulking on Air Force One as he headed back to D.C. Trump not only failed to get the immediate unconditional ceasefire he was pining for, but he also got bludgeoned by foreign policy commentators who faulted him for gifting Putin international legitimacy for nothing in return. Trump sounded downright solemn during his 12-minute press conference, we'll get to that, with Putin admitting straight away that while unidentified progress was made, there wasn't enough common ground to hash out even a rough preliminary outline of a deal. According to MSNBC, Trump said, "We had an extremely productive meeting and had many points we agreed to. There are just very few that are left. Some are not that significant. One is probably the most significant, but we have a good chance of getting there." I just assume he's going to sound like Droopy Dog a little bit because it's MSNBC. It doesn't take a genius in international affairs to understand that the most significant item he was referring to was the one issue that prompted him to organize the summit with Putin in the first place. The war in Ukraine? That is so stupid.
Who writes this?
Let's find that out. That is the dumbest point I ever saw. Opinion. Oh, it's an opinion piece by Daniel DePetris, a fellow at Defense Priorities. Listen, I guess maybe I scanned over that earlier. That is so stupid. Okay, let's just read this.
If you can.
Okay. Jesus. So he said, there's many points we agreed to. There's very few that are left. Some are not that significant. Probably one is the most significant, but we have a good chance of getting there. And he says it doesn't take a genius to know the thing that's the most significant item is the war in Ukraine.
The whole goal.
Yeah. He's talking about the different points of a peace negotiation process and all the different things that Pooty Poot says he needs, and he already knows some of the stuff that Ukraine says they need. And he's like, well, this. He goes, yeah, that's okay. That's no problem. This, we'll have to work on that. That one, I might have to make some calls. And he goes, well, obviously that one was not fighting the war. Nah.
Let's give him a promotion from fellow to Captain Obvious.
It's not even Captain. It's Captain Dumbass. It's like that. It's like, no, man. That's not. There's only a couple things it could be, right? One is, so he said from the get-go he doesn't want Ukraine to ever be part of NATO, right? And he doesn't want, and I'm sure Trump's like, fine. Ukraine wants some sort of protections that are like NATO protections, but different. And I feel like that one, Trump's even kind of like, I got an idea on that. Because that's been something that's been talked about since before they invaded, So that's something that he theoretically and his people theoretically should have been thinking on for, 4 years or whatever, 3 years. So it could be about the presence at the border. Odds are it could be that. It could be the land that they divvy up. I guess we'll hop around. We'll just do this however the hell I want to. You don't tell me how to live my life, Charlie. Okay?
Okay, I'll just sit over here quiet.
Hey! Okay. So, right now, so this is what Russia holds in red right there. So all that red stuff is Ukraine, but Russia's got it, right? So it's the Donbass region, and these are kind of like the sections from there, right? So, actually, let's go to this other map down here, which makes it much more interesting. Stop giving me ads and stuff. I just want to show the thing. Did I go too far? I went too far. But basically, there are... Okay, this is natural resources. So you can see that dashed line over there, which is what Russia holds. So the southernmost thing that touches Crimea, pretty worthless. But it connects Crimea to the rest of the land that they hold, right? But they can still get there through Russia without going through Ukraine. But in the Donbass region, they have lots of coal and iron. So about half of what they hold right now in that region has $200 to $800 billion in natural resources. Coal, gas, iron, rare earth minerals. To the south of that, another $50 to $200 billion, right? So this is a very resource-rich area. I'm going to say they don't want to give up any of that area. And they probably, let's see.
They being?
Russia.
Right.
And I think some of that could be potentially problematic in that it has a lot of resources. Whatever. Russia might even want more than that. So it's either about the way the land divvies up. It's either about how the land divvies up, how UN protections are going to be. But I think it's the land. I think, Putin comes out and goes like, obviously, I think he's like, I want the Donbass region, and I want this other little chunk that basically connects the Donbass region with Crimea, a portion of which is mineral rich. Because if you look at, I don't know, somewhere where, see Donetsk, these dashed lines over here. Mm-hmm. That one little chunk of white there that is at the top, that's part of the Donbass region. So that whole thing from Luhansk to Donetsk, I know I'm pronouncing things horribly. So most of that's occupied. That one little chunk isn't occupied. I think he goes, look, man, we need to occupy that, all this kind of stuff. I think Trump's like, well, you keep what you keep, and that's it. The northern part, that stays Ukraine. I don't know. But, to think, well, that one item is war. So, no. They're both agreeing that the end of the line for both of them is war is over. They're talking about divvying up resources and responsibilities and commitments for after the war. That's God, he's so stupid. I'm sorry. I did not mean to get distracted by that so bad. It was just so stupid. I just couldn't. I couldn't. Okay. And so there's other. This we'll just read the headline. This is New York Times. Trump's self-owned summit with Putin. So this is a whole other thing in the New York Times. This is the day it happened.
Getting hip with those titles.
I know. They wrote this like day of the 15th. This was Friday. I don't know what time it was published, but like they finished up at so it was 3 p.m. They started. They met for a few hours. They skipped lunch. It was a few hours they left. So this is evening time. Before they're done, they do the press conference. I forget what time. It was evening, 5-ish, 6, something like that. And so the New York Times got all this information, quote unquote, and then was able to like write this. Even the puffery-prone president couldn't alchemize his non-deal with Russia into Trumpian gold. What a stupid...
I was hoping you would read that. It was garbage.
Just New York Times, like, watch this. I got my thesaurus. We're gonna sound so smart. Ooh. Turning this into gold, which is alchemy for those without a thesaurus. So that all right. Let me.
Ironically, talking about minerals and
yeah, there you go. Rare earth minerals. Now we're gonna watch a little bit of this press conference with Pooty Poot and Troopy Troop, and which is what his friends call him. And of course, dine at Mar-a-Lago on the regular with Troopy Troop, which is why I get to call him that. Mm. Yeah, that's something you've known about me for a while. I'm an insider, a presidential insider. I know all the things. But, okay. I guess before we get to this. So they're going to talk about some stuff, right? Now, Trump said, war's over day one. Obviously, this is not day one, right? He didn't get that done. That was stupid. There was bluster. Obviously, it was bluster. You know. It's worth going, like, see what happens, you know? But, like, no one really thought day one. I mean, it's like all the day one stuff. Day one. It's like, it's not an executive order. It's not happening day one.
Right.
You know? And yeah, he's tried a couple times. It's not been as easy as he advertised, but that's what he does. He says it'll be easy, you know, just like waking up in the morning. And then it's like, well, actually, you got to put some effort in. Okay. So, fine, right? But he goes in this meeting, and everyone I don't know about everyone, but I hear everyone talking about a ceasefire deal. So I'm thinking is they're going to walk out, they go, all right, Putin's agreed to a 30-day ceasefire. We'll meet in 15 and try and hammer out peace talks or whatever, something like that, you know? And so when they come out and they go, actually, we've begun peace talks. You go, oh. It's like, we've begun peace talks. We've actually made some good headway. It's time to get the others involved. You go, well, that sounds positive. And everybody is just like, dropped the ball and got owned. And like, and I'm not saying like Trump did magic here. I mean, there's lots of things that have occurred, including like, you know, including what has happened in Iran with the manufacture of military drones. You know, there's been other interventions near the Caucasus. There's been other stuff that has occurred, and there's just a lot of people dying. You know, like it's time to end this, and like they're kind of in a stalemate. They're not really moving one way or the other, and it's like it's time to end this. Like I think all sides probably feel like it's time to end this. Let's move on. You know, even the Ukrainian people, over 60% says let's end this, move on. You know, so I'm not saying like 4D chess, Trump did some miraculous thing, but regardless. He went in to negotiate, and they came out with the beginning of what seems to be a productive peace talk. That's positive. Peace is positive.
I mean, what if he had ended? Let's just say he came out and they ended the war. There would still be negative headlines. They would find a way.
I mean, most definitely. And that's the thing, too. As much as that sounds totally ridiculous, there were people going... I mean, could he come out and say it? Like, no one said, I mean, people might say, 0% chance. It's highly unlikely. But people were just like, there's a chance he might come out and do that, you know? Like, it wasn't likely. The whole thing, you know, it's a tough deal. But it is interesting that as much as people were talking trash, they were also just like, I don't know. He could pop out of this thing with a peace deal. So, anyway. let's just hear. It's a little long. Trump doesn't say a whole lot. We'll listen to a couple things. But it's just, this is kind of just to balance with the reports of how horrible this thing went, how sad droopy dog Trump is, and all that. The first 3.5 minutes is Putin talking about Russian history, how close the United States are with Russia, Alaska's shared history with Russia, and how they have a lot in common. There's a statue in Russia about the Russian American fighters, the air bridge of supplies, and all this stuff. Just talking about like, hey, we've been friends before, and then basically goes into he says like it's the right now things are the relationship's the worst it's been since the Cold War, and he thinks it's better for the globe as a whole to remedy that. And you go, yeah.
Me and President Trump have very good direct contact. We've spoken multiple times. We spoke frankly on the phone. And special envoy of the president, Mr. Witkoff, traveled out to Russia several times. Our advisors and heads of foreign ministries kept in touch all the time. And you know fully well that one of the central issues was the situation around Ukraine. We see the strive of the administration and President Trump personally to help facilitate the resolution of the Ukrainian conflict. And his strive to get to the crux of the matter, to understand this history, is precious.
So he goes, all right, we've been in talks constantly. We know it's been like since the campaign, ending this war has been a central thing for Trump. And he goes, and we appreciate that he's actually willing to understand the history of the region and not just going and swinging a big, whatever. But I never can. I can't.
Good job.
I can't figure out how much I'm supposed to censor myself.
That's good. That was really good.
Yeah, it's like it's the internet. We don't have to. Then YouTube does what it does, and I don't know.
As I've said, the situation in Ukraine has to do with fundamental threats to our security. Moreover, we've always considered the Ukrainian nation, and I've said it multiple times, a brotherly nation. However strange it may sound in these conditions, we have the same roots, and everything that's happening is a tragedy for us and terrible wound. Therefore, the country is sincerely interested in putting an end to it.
Sincerely interested in putting an end to war. Good. Look, I get it. He's Putin. He's a liar, all that kind of stuff. But he's just like, hey, look, there are people. This sucks. Security interests. He doesn't want NATO aiming guns at him from Ukrainian borders.
He keeps saying it over and over again.
Yeah.
At the same time, we're convinced that in order to make the settlement lasting and long-term, we need to eliminate all the primary roots, the primary causes of that conflict, and we've said it multiple times, to consider all legitimate concerns of Russia and to reinstate a just balance of security in Europe and in the world on the whole. And I agree with President Trump, as he has said today, that naturally the security of Ukraine should be ensured as well. Naturally, we are prepared to work on that.
Long-lasting. Obviously, Ukraine needs security guarantees. I think, part of that might be like, we plan to slide back into the ADM soon, but,
I would like to hope that the agreement that we've reached together will help us bring closer that goal and will pave the path towards peace in Ukraine. We expect that Kiev and European capitals will perceive that constructively and that they won't throw a wrench in the works. They will not make any attempts to use some backroom dealings to conduct provocations to torpedo the nascent progress.
A little bit of a dig there at Ukraine, which, I don't know. Zelensky's been Zelensky throughout this whole thing, and he hadn't been backroom, but who says there hadn't been backroom deals? In other words, he's just like, hey, you suck. So you get one, Pooty. You get one.
Incidentally, when the new administration came to power, bilateral trade started to grow. It's still very symbolic. Still, we have a growth of 20%. As I've said, we have a lot of dimensions for joint work. It is clear that the U.S. and Russian investment and business cooperation has tremendous potential. Russia and the U.S. can offer each other so much in trade, digital, high-tech, and in space exploration.
So he's talking Trump's language. He's like, yo, also, let's make some money, you know? And, like, Russia spent a lot of money on this war, and they, you know, they're hurting a bit. I think Putin's accounts are probably pretty sweet, but, you know, it is hard. I mean, their GDP is less than Florida, you know? I mean, Florida has a good GDP, but, like, they're smaller than us with more land and people and all that kind of stuff. Actually, I don't know how many people they have, but I imagine more than Florida. I don't know the answer to that. Either way, but they've been fighting a war. Florida doesn't have to fight a war. And so it's, you know, it's expensive fighting a war. And so, but, you know, it sounds like he knows that the key to Trump's heart is trade deals or other economic deals where you go, yo, let's talk investment and deals, you know?
We see that Arctic cooperation is also very possible. And our international context, for example, between the Far East of Russia and the West Coast of the U.S. Overall, it's very important for our countries to turn the page, to go back to cooperation. It is symbolic that not far away from here, at the border between Russia and the U.S., there is a so-called international date line.
He gets poetic here.
I think you can step over, literally, from yesterday into tomorrow. And I hope that we'll succeed in that. In political sphere. I would like to thank President Trump for our joint work, for the well-wishing and trustworthy tone of our conversation. It's important that both sides are result-oriented, and we see that the President of the U.S. has a very clear idea of what he would like to achieve. He sincerely cares about prosperity of his nation. Still, he understands that Russia has its own national interests. I expect that today's agreements will be the starting point, not only for the solution of the Ukrainian issue, but also will help us bring back business-like and pragmatic relations between Russia and the U.S.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, he's about to drop a bomb, though. This is, well, I guess he's doing that a lot again.
Easy.
Yeah. Well, this one's for the Democrats, though. I think this one's personally for, well, I guess we'll just see. He's about to get to some fun.
And in the end, I would like to add one more thing.
Yes?
I'd like to remind you that in 2022, during the last contact with the previous administration, I tried to convince my previous American colleague that the situation should not be brought to the point of no return when it would come to hostilities. And I said it quite directly back then that it's a big mistake. Today, when President Trump saying that if he was the president back then, there will be no war. And I'm quite sure that it would indeed be so. I can confirm that.
So that's something. I mean, Democrats already kind of hate him, and they're like, oh, he's a liar and all that. But you go, oh, Trump's kissing his butt, and all that kind of stuff. And Putin comes out and goes, yeah, I can confirm if Trump was president, this war would not have happened. It only happened because Biden was president. And just like, that's fun. Like, say what you want about the man. I mean, it does, I guess, on the flip side of it. Like right now, you know, you can do a little anti-Biden sort of lap on that where you go, hey, what do y'all think of that? When you look at long-term Russian goals, you know, unspoken Russian goals of dividing America from within, so we tear ourselves apart, it does help push that forward too. So I don't think it's all just gonna be like, yeah, Trump's right, you know, because oh shoot, what's that guy's name? Alexander Dugin, when he's talked about how you know, the future of America and it's gonna be broken up into all these different parts. And but yeah, basically they planted seeds during the commie days of the USSR, and like from there we just all tear ourselves apart. So you know, this is just a little, yeah, Trump was right, and then like deal with that. Like, suck it, America. All right, let's see what else. I think there might be one or two interesting things, and then
I think that overall, me and President Trump have built a very good business-like and trustworthy contact. And I have every reason to believe that moving down this path, we can come, and the sooner the better, to the end of the conflict in Ukraine. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. That was very profound, and I will say that I believe we had a very productive meeting. There were many, many points that we agreed on, most of them, I would say, a couple of big ones that we haven't quite gotten there, but we've made some headway. So there's no deal until there's a deal. I will call up NATO in a little while. I will call up the various people that I think are appropriate, and I'll, of course, call up President Zelensky and tell him about today's meeting. It's ultimately up to them. They're going to have to agree with what Marco and Steve and some of the great people from
All right, blah, blah, blah. So basically he was like, hey, we got to a lot of stuff.
The commitment in NATO
we didn't get to
is that if
everything.
they attack one of us,
And it's not done till it's done.
And
Very
it was
positive
made-
day,
it
but
was
it's not a deal
made
till it's a deal.
because the USSR was so huge.
And so he's like, this is Friday night.
Like,
he did a Sean Hannity
Germany can't
interview. I have not watched. I don't think I
but
can
it's
handle
one
it.
of those things like in America, it's
Sean
like,
Hannity
we
is
work together
like,
to take out the USSR. Of course, the USSR has fallen.
he's not a natural interviewer.
So now
I'd hear his show like in my dad's car as like a teen and young adult and stuff, and
we're poor. And
he is one of the most
The
interrupting
goal-
humans
obviously the goal is to
on
end
the
this. We're
planet.
gonna make deals.
He drives me
Plan,
nuts, and he
you know,
thinks he takes ninja
deal,
classes.
and then
I don't know what martial
Russia's
arts he
your
takes,
ally. Like, be
but
friendly with
he
Russia.
thinks he's a ninja. He thinks. I think.
They were
I
friendly
think
with Russia.
he has a
They
day where
overthrew
his
their
sensei
government and said
just
you can't
beats
be
the hell
friendly
out of
with
him to
Russia
condition
anymore.
his arms and stuff.
Tried that. It worked
I
very well
think
for a long
that
time.
day
We need
is
NATO.
just for sensei.
We don't need NATO.
He goes,
think
I have to
me
teach
too.
this guy
Yeah,
all
America's
month,
just
one day a
NATO.
month,
I think NATO should be a
I am
European
just
alliance,
gonna
do what you
beat
want. Y'all are all
the
tiny
tar
little
out of him
nations. Like, y'all get together
and charge him premium dollar.
Can we get the live feed to this? That's great.
I would love it. I would love it. Anyway,
Stepped back.
so like Hannity, he's a bloviator. You know, he talks, and, you know, pulls stuff out of his butt. Unlike me, who is well reasoned and has all the data all the time.
But no,
But I don't know. He's not a great interviewer, and he's
They
enamored
pay the most.
with Trump.
But
You know,
they want
so
that kind of
like
protection, where they're
it's
gonna-
just
all right,
the way I heard it
if
described was he just
Russia
kind of
steps in and bombs or invades
let Trump
or
go, and
Someone will have our
that makes
back.
sense. Just because
You know,
it's already like Trump's
we-
actually a very hard person to
And,
interview when you watch different
think-
people try.
Go ahead.
I think Flagrant did the best job,
that
like Andrew Schultz and the boys.
done,
And that's just because
make
they're
this deal,
not
but
serious
not done
people.
speaking.
And they
Well,
would
you know,
like
if you-
interrupt him when he would like
look at
go on, and they would
contemporary
tease him and
history,
stuff.
he
Like that was
took
the
Crimea,
swerve or whatever for the I swerve, I
he's like,
curve.
cool,
What
we're
was
done.
it? I
And now he's
dipping.
taking
Is it
a lot
dipping?
more. He's
A duck?
nibbled.
Yeah, there's
He's nibbled
something.
some more. And so
weave.
say
Weave. That's my weave. I always weave back. It was one of those things like you go on something and like Schultz be like, stick to this, stick to this. I was weaving, I'd weave back. But it was just because like they were.
You know,
I think it's
and
also because
so-
they were a bunch of New Yorkers, you know.
He's
So
just
they're
there.
they were all comfortable interrupting and busting chops
just-
and all that kind of stuff. And so, but otherwise, like. He starts talking and he
yeah,
weaves
just-
and he weaves and he
America-
weaves, and so he can
can't-
sit
you know
there.
what's gonna be the next
I think
ministry.
without even intending
And,
to. And if
so
you have
you're
a
not- it's- if
10-minute
something
interview,
happens, like what do we have?
two questions, if you're lucky,
overthrew
you know.
the
So if you're not even,
government.
if you're just sitting there like
Be in our camp, not their camp.
you just hearts in your eyeballs, like maybe two
from
questions
that,
for an
we said,
hour or whatever. Anyway,
hey,
Trump didn't
here
get back to
you
D.C. till
give
like
them
4
to
a.m.,
Russia.
4 or 5
We
a.m.
got your back.
Okay,
I said, all right.
and
It's all
he
right
did
with that.
call.
And so
You know,
some
President
form of
Macron
deals
and
with the EU or
Zelensky and all these different
But,
people, right?
something.
And
NATO, so
they all came out to meet him.
So they want
And so
some
yesterday,
sort of
Monday,
guarantee.
He landed 4 in the morning on
Wonder if any
Saturday.
of those things even
Monday,
matter anymore.
all the world leaders
Like,
basically
America
are
ignore it, and
in the
then
White
people
House
would, I feel like
to talk Russia.
Turkey or whoever.
And they talk,
Probably.
and everybody seems very happy.
They send a token
Everyone's like, "Yeah, this is going
there
good."
you go.
They seem
in.
to be coming
Yeah.
to agreements. So Ukraine
So, I
wants
don't know, I
something
imagine
similar
we're
to
gonna get
NATO
some sort of-
protections
It's gonna probably
without
be
getting
us
NATO
helping
protections. It sounds
beef
like
up
that's
their
going to be
borders,
in
the
part
things that they
them
purchase from us,
committing to
and then
buy
other
lots
things
of
to restock
military
their
stuff from
military
our
so they have some good gear.
industrial
Probably
military-industrial
try to get
complex.
Somebody in the area.
Hey, how else do you
also
think this is
commit
going to
some
end,
stuff,
Charlie?
maybe old
You don't just let a war go to end.
Wait,
but
I don't mean to
NATO
interrupt you.
won't be
Well, I do,
formal,
but
you know, if Russia ever
what
sniggles back into
can
their pants,
Ukraine
like,
get-
suddenly they've got all that.
why does
Which is
Ukraine
something
need
hopefully we're smart
NATO
enough to realize.
defense protection?
But
because if Ukraine is in NATO
everyone seems to be
and Russia
positive.
invades to
To
take some
the
land or
extent.
something,
we're kinda
Russia is
running out of
officially
time
at
here.
war with America and England and France and every member of NATO, Turkey.
To the extent that all
Yeah, that's an odd one.
That's an odd one.
Zelensky
But suddenly it's
showed up
basically
with a
World
suit
War.
jacket.
You know, it's like it's
They
World War
call this
Three,
a
you
military
against the world.
suit. I think it's
And so
basically
it's
a t-shirt
like
with a sports coat.
the commitment in
They call it a
NATO is that if they
military-style
attack one of
suit.
us, they attack all of us.
a
And it was
suit
mainly
jacket.
made because the USSR was so huge,
And I've never been a big,
and it was so powerful
but at
that it
some
was
point,
like, hey,
when you wear the
none
same
like
suit every
Germany
photograph,
can't take
you know,
them,
this is just a
obviously.
costume.
But
I
it's one of those
noticed
things like
it's
even
a
America, it's like
costume.
we need to work together to take out the USSR. Of course, the USSR has fallen.
But
Ukraine was
'cause,
part
like,
of it.
You're leaving the
Um,
okay. I wear this.
So
to
now
the
it's
war
just
zone.
one of those
You
things that go,
left the
hey,
war zone.
we can't
You
fight.
flew across
You know, like
the
that
ocean
chick
on
from
a nice
Serbia
plane.
said, like, we're
Probably on
poor
a nice
and
plane. You
small.
could take a nappy
But
nap.
like, you know, if the
You
goal,
know?
I mean, obviously the goal is to end this,
Change
and you're
into
going to
a
make
suit.
deals, whatever that's land,
Talk to
minerals,
world leaders.
make the deal,
Every
and
other
then
world leader
Russia's your
the world.
ally. Like, be friendly with Russia. Ukrainians are there's Russians in Ukraine.
They were friendly with Russia. Then we overthrew their government and said you can't be friendly with Russia anymore. They tried that. It worked very well for a long
We
time.
don't need NATO. Just
We don't need NATO. I think,
be real.
yeah, I think America should just get out of NATO. I think NATO should be a European alliance. Do what you want. Y'all are all tiny little nations. Like y'all get together and do NATO.
And we pay the most into it anyways.
We sure do.
Anyway, so yeah, he wore a suit
I don't know.
and,
It's not
or
switching right.
And
I think I
this is just a
stepped
funny
back.
interaction that
Oh.
occurred to show
Get back.
just after
Weird.
things
Oh,
to
it's
show
off.
how positive
Oh.
everybody's feeling
Maybe
after the
I
fact.
hit the wrong
This
button
is
or something.
Chunk,
Welcome back, Charlie.
Trump and Zelensky.
But no, we don't need NATO,
Meeting with
and
press,
they're
same
stupid,
room
and I think
where
we
we
should
got,
get out of NATO. We do pay the
yelled at
most,
last time.
but they want
this
that
is-
kind of protection where they go,
we
all right, if somebody,
give Zelensky
if
crud
Russia
a lot,
steps
so
in
this
and
is
bombs or
funny,
invades or whatever,
humans do.
someone will have our back, you know, like for real. And so I think, go ahead.
Are they assuming that Putin's not done? Like, we'll make this deal, but Putin's not done taking?
Well, you know, if you just look at contemporary history, he took Crimea, which was Ukraine's, and then he's like, cool, we're done. And then now he's taken a lot more. He's nibbled. He's nibbled some more. And so if you say he settles in these borders and everything's peaceful for 5 years,
Whatever. The audio is important.
you know, or maybe say the next administration is
he goes-
somehow
He's like, no,
Biden wins
he's like-
again.
he's like, that's the
You
guy
know,
who
and
agreed.
so
He goes, yeah, I know. He's like, I remember.
he's just
He
up
goes-
there.
he goes,
He's your
"New
face.
suit. You're wearing that same suit you wore last
Yeah, just-
time. Like, I remember. I've changed. You not.
But you know, just
Right.
America,
You
just
know,
you don't know what's going to be the next administration, and so he goes, all right, if something happens,
So,
like what do we
doing
have?
good.
Because
Let's see.
we overthrew their government and said, don't be
Thing.
like be in our camp, not their camp, and also like a while back from that we said,
Trump
hey,
with
give her your
Macron.
nukes, give them to Russia, man, we got your
I think
back.
Putin
And they said, all
wants to
right.
make a deal.
It's so far we've not had the back.
Macron.
And so, you know, if it was some
He wants to
formal
make a
sort of
deal
deal,
with
some
me,
treaty or
understand
something, I guess there
crazy
was a
as it
treaty on the
sounds.
nukes. But
Now that
if they were NATO,
crazy.
it's a attack
I don't
one,
think
attack
Putin
all.
wants to make
So
a
they
deal
want some
for
sort of
Trump.
similar
but
guarantee.
maybe there's more context.
I wonder if any of those things even matter anymore.
Or something.
I
Make
feel
a
like
deal
if America
for
wanted
me.
to ignore it at any time,
maybe
they
he's
would.
just
I feel
saying-
like Turkey or whoever, they
Maybe he's
probably will
saying,
ignore it. Or they send a token,
we
5
have
people. They go, there you
trusting enough
go, we're in.
relationship that he's willing to make a deal with America.
So I don't know. I imagine we're going to give some sort of. It's going
Surely
to probably
he's
be
not
us helping
he loves me.
beef up their
He's
borders through
pretty-
things that they purchase from us, and then other things to restock their military so they have some good gear.
I know
We'll
I'm
probably
optimistic-
try to get
optimistic
somebody in the area to also
just
commit
hope
some
that
stuff.
he's not
Maybe
just-
all
I
of
don't
those
know.
people
I
to commit
think,
some stuff. But they won't be in NATO. Won't be formal. You know, if Russia ever sniggles back into their pants, like suddenly they've got all that gear.
playing
which
all
is
that
something
rock
hopefully we're
and
smart
roll
enough to realize.
together.
But
And then of course, you know,
But yeah, so that's everyone seems to be very positive, like to the extent. I know we're kind of running out of time here, but
can
yeah,
can Zelensky trust
to
Trump?
the extent that all
Ukraine's fate may defend.
Zelensky
This whole thing is just saying.
showed up with a suit
Trump
jacket.
changes opinions.
They called this a military suit. I think it's basically a T-shirt with a sports coat, but they're calling it a military style suit. But it's
Israel
a suit jacket.
has unleashed hell?
And I've never been a big, like, wear a damn suit. But at some point,
it's
like,
just, like,
when you wear the
going
same
like, hey,
shirt
return
every
the hostage or
photograph,
else we're gonna do
you go, this is
something
just a costume, dog. I know this is just a costume. Like,
I mean,
just-
like, really, at this point, he goes, drop some bombs.
but
Who noticed? Who
because,
cares?
like, you're leaving
All you did
like,
was
okay, I wear this because I'm in the war
situation
zone.
that
You
didn't need
left
help,
the war zone.
you know?
You flew
like, I guess
across
that's
the
a
ocean
reversal.
on a nice plane.
But
Probably
they
on a nice
pulled
plane. You
couple
could take a
of them. They
nappy
talked about
nap.
How you wanted that,
Get up,
the ceasefire.
change into a suit,
Ceasefire.
go talk to
I don't know,
world
so
leaders.
with me,
Every other world
and
leader
apparently, the German
in the world
hell, according to the
has a
Telegraph.
suit.
It would also benefit
According
him
to the
because he's,
Telegraph,
I mean,
Putin
coming
and
from a
Zelensky are gonna meet in
short
2 weeks.
person, wearing a suit
depending
makes
on
you
how
look
that goes.
taller.
Does it?
I think I saw Trump said
Does.
that
The
maybe
tie,
after
at
that,
least.
the three of
I
them.
mean,
Oh, the
tie.
vertical.
Yeah, the vertical will make
I
you
have
look
concerns
taller.
about.
There you go.
So
He just told me-
it's odd that he didn't choose at least
I
a
have
tie.
concerns about
I've been
some
wondering
of
why
the
you wear
ones
so
we
many
made
ties
in
all the
the
time.
past.
One around your head, one around your neck, one around the waist. I'm not gonna ask about
Yeah,
that.
I just,
But anyway, so yeah, he wore a suit,
maybe-
and or kind of
and
wore
I-
a suit,
I don't know,
and
maybe-
so this is
maybe
this is just a funny
Putin's gonna
interaction that
seduce him,
occurred to
but,
show. So this is after
Hello,
things to
Vladimir.
show how positive
Oh,
everybody's
you look
feeling after the
lovely.
fact. This is just a chunk
wears
of
a suit and
him,
tie.
of Trump and Zelensky once again
That will be
meeting with press, same room where he got
But like,
you
I don't
know
know,
yelled
part
at
of
the
me
last
feels
time.
like Putin can be like,
And so
"Listen,
this is
we're
we
gonna agree to these things.
we give Zelensky crud a
gonna
lot.
come
So
back
this
home
is
to
funny. Give him his
Going
due.
back home to Papa. We're gonna do it in a
President
strategic way,
Zelensky,
but-
you look fabulous in that suit.
I said the same.
Oh, he does have a
You
collar.
look good.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, looks good on
I
you.
said to the one that attacked you last time. See, that was I remember that.
Yeah, I apologize to you. You look wonderful. No, my first question for you, President Zelensky.
In the same suit. You see, I changed, you are not.
Maybe yours is much better.
So thought he was kind of cool. Does he have a tie on
Would be a
there?
very nice
No.
part of Russia these days.
You know, he goes.
Crimea.
Oh man, I didn't switch the video.
But I don't
over.
know. So
Or
part
did
of
I?
me does think that the meetings.
Whatever. The
It'll
audio
be
is
about
important
peace,
thing.
but it'll
Whatever.
also
Who
be
cares?
about
It's the
Putin
end of the show.
strategically
Everyone's tuned out. But now he goes.
getting his
He's like, no, I remember. He's like, that's the guy that gave you grief. He goes, yeah, I know. He's like, I remember.
concerned
He
about
goes,
Zelensky being
he goes,
all yacked
I have a
up
new
and
suit.
half
You're wearing that same suit you wore last time. Like, I remember. So I've changed. You have not, which is funny. So he's, you know,
Just going
he's
in,
chopping it up with the press. Everyone's laughing.
He's going in stupid.
So
Um,
Zelensky's doing good. Let's see.
there we go. Yeah, just
Oh, yeah,
going
this
in
hot
and, like,
mic
ruining
thing.
everything.
This is crazy.
And, like,
So
even us just
when they
not
were kind of
knowing what
ending,
happens,
whatever,
and then Putin
the
goes,
hot
"Well, he
mic
ruined
moment,
everything."
Trump whispering
what'd you
to
do? And he
Macron,
goes,
he says,
You go, well, I don't believe
I think
you.
Putin
You know, 'cause
wants
that's
to
the
make a
thing,
deal. Trump whispered
happy for
to
them to
Macron in the
talk.
East Room. I think he
know
wants
they
to make a
need to
deal
talk
for me.
one-on-one.
You understand that? As crazy as it
But
sounds,
I just feel
Now
like
that
there needs to be a babysitter in the
it
room.
is crazy.
If it ain't
I don't
Trump,
think Putin wants to make a
I feel
deal
like
for
Marco
Trump,
Rubio,
but maybe
Secretary of
there's
State, that's kind of his job.
more context
Somebody. I didn't think there
or
needs to be
something. Make a
babysitter
deal
or
for
a
me.
mediator or
I don't know. Maybe he's just saying.
I just don't know why Zelensky didn't just go to like.
Maybe
Alaska.
he's saying
He wasn't invited.
we have a trusting enough relationship
Why?
that he's
Well,
willing
'cause,
to make a deal
we've
with
heard- we've met
America
with Zelensky already, right?
for me.
And we've heard what
Surely
he
he's not
said,
just like
and then
he
we
loves
heard
me and
Zelensky
thinks my
was
eyes
stupid,
are pretty.
And he needs to shut up.
I mean, I guess it could be
So we're like, all right,
any of that.
Putin,
But
are you open
Just,
to ending?
I know I'm an
Yeah.
optimistic fella, but I just
What would you
I just
like?
hope
Like,
that he's
what-
not
what
just.
do
I
you
don't
need
know.
him
I
for?
think.
Yeah, he said his part.
I
and
think
you
the
go,
bartender
and you're
likes
talking about,
me.
Yeah, that's a big ass.
like,
That one's
the
okay.
AI videos of them
Maybe you work with
dancing
a
would,
couple-
would
we
actually
can
be
settle
true.
for
Yeah.
Playing all the rock and or roll music together.
You know, and so then you.
And then, of course,
fold.
you know,
Sometimes
New York Times or
too many cooks in the
no,
kitchen.
what is this?
you know,
New Yorker.
if you're trying to get something done,
I can't tell. Yeah.
especially
So
when you
can
know
can
that one of the
Zelensky?
people,
Yeah,
is
New York Times. Can
problematic.
Zelensky trust Trump? Ukraine's
I mean, just
may
think of
fate,
something
or
as
Ukraine,
stupid
yeah,
as,
Ukraine's fate may depend on the answer. This whole thing's just saying.
associate like a condo.
Well,
or
Trump
house.
changes opinions all the time. He said that if all the hostages
they're
didn't get
poorly
returned from
attended,
Gaza,
and they go,
that he'd unleash hell. But he's been backing off of that recently. It's
All right,
like
let's talk about this. Everyone's like, doo.
Israel
Sometimes there's somebody that
has
jumps in
unleashed
and they just
hell.
derail everything constantly.
I mean, what?
And then you
Consistently.
Go, well, if I'm gonna get
Yeah,
something
it's just
done,
like him going like, "Hey,
talk
return
to
the
one
hostages,
person
or else we're gonna do
about
something
this
bad."
specifically, at
What
least about the
else
logistics,
can you do?
You know? Like,
I mean, like
whatever
really,
our
at this
hopes and
point, he
dreams,
goes,
cool,
drop some
thanks for
bombs.
that.
Like,
as far as doing the actual
who
stuff
noticed? Who
together.
cares?
I'm gonna talk.
All
to
you did was get
one
involved in a
person
situation
who's
that didn't need any help.
You know.
You know, so it's like I guess
what
that's
I
a
think.
reversal.
One invited.
I
That's
guess.
what- Once they
But like
saw
they pulled a
Putin
couple of things, but they talked about how
was
he wanted that
serious,
the ceasefire,
About peace,
and then
and
he didn't get
has
the
some
ceasefire.
ideas. It's like, all right, well,
I don't.
let's
So
bring this
with
to the
me,
fellas
I'm
and
just. Oh, and then
see what they
apparently
do,
the
you know?
German, whatever the hell,
So I don't
according to
know.
the Telegraph,
I'm
it's
constantly
being all
an
funky on me.
optimist.
According to the Telegraph, Putin and Zelensky are going to meet in 2 weeks.
How this goes well.
And then depending on how that goes,
that would be great.
I think I saw Trump said that
We
maybe
do
after
need
that, the three of them all
normalized
meet
relations
together.
with Russia.
I have concerns about.
Why can't they just all meet?
I have
you have
concerns
one thing to
about
tell
sending
the Americans,
Zelensky
what
into
would you
any
like to
meeting,
say?
to be
There's all these,
honest,
like,
and letting him
Russian-
make decisions.
Like by himself. Yeah.
We're actually very nice people.
Yeah, I
and
just,
and all that stuff. And that's the reality. Like,
I just,
there's a lot of very
you know,
normal-
maybe-
it's very normal over there.
Gosh, I don't know. Maybe,
you know, we have to keep
maybe
an eye on Russia.
Mr. Putin's going to
Just like we
seduce
have to
him,
keep an eye on
but
China. Just like we have to keep
it's
an
like,
eye on
hello, Vladimir. It's like, you look
You know,
lovely.
it's like, let's normalize
Okay,
relations.
if he wears a suit and tie to meet with Putin,
Yeah.
that will be very interesting.
Yeah,
But like, I don't know. Like, part of me feels like
government.
Putin's gonna be like, listen, we're gonna
government
agree to
that
these things,
seeks to rule over them.
but you're gonna come back
Um,
home to Papa.
But it's one of those things. It's
You're
like
coming back home to Papa. We're gonna do it in a strategic way, but we're separating this American stuff. We're getting back to
We're not
business.
going to agree on
And
everything.
for that,
you know, you're gonna
sack of
support stuff you
cash.
don't support.
sack of cash and
Maybe.
diamonds. Like,
There doesn't
we've
have to
already
be
wired
full
this to this
nuclear
account
war
number.
in the air.
It's in your name.
Maybe
You know,
sell
like, here's a
things
nice
to each
house
other
and
and just
I don't
aim
know,
for
St.
peace.
Petersburg or some nice part of I don't
Iran
know. In
has
Russia,
been
it's nice.
taken
Whatever,
out
some nice
better
place.
and
In Crimea.
worse.
In Crimea.
And I mean, it's for better.
That would be a
Just
very nice part of Russia
Not
these
as bad.
days. Yeah, here's a nice house in Crimea.
either way.
Yeah.
It's like that.
But I don't know.
that's,
So part of me does
Russian
think that the meetings
proxy.
will be about peace, but it'll also
Russian
be
ally
about
that
Putin
perhaps
strategically
they also much like
getting
many
his
of us
getting his
thought
girl back.
stronger than they are.
Um,
And so once they kind of fell
but also,
apart,
I'm
lost
just
all their
concerned
nuclear
about Zelensky
engineers,
being all
their
yacked
drone
up and going off half cocked and
manufacturing facilities, their missile
screwing
manufacturing
everything up.
facilities.
I feel like he needs a
all this kind of stuff,
babysitter.
you
Is
know.
what I'm saying.
Like going in mad.
That sucks.
Yeah, just going in
War with
and
Ukraine. You go like, well, China's our
stupid.
buddy.
Just going
right?
in stupid.
Well,
Just,
that sucks. Maybe
There
you
we
go
go.
like, all right.
Yeah, just going in and like ruining everything, and like, or even us just not knowing what happens.
You know,
And then
Ukraine
Putin goes, "Well, he
"Oh,
ruined
know they're never
everything."
gonna do it again."
And you go, what did you
Oh,
do? And
that's
he goes,
all.
"I didn't do nothing."
You get-
You go, "Well, I don't believe
Maybe
you."
10 years of
And you know, because that's the thing. Like, I'm happy for them to talk. I know they need to talk one on
You
one,
know, Ukraine becomes a Russian ally again.
but I
and
just
we don't have
feel
to
like there needs to be a babysitter
Like
in
an
the
enemy.
room. If it ain't Trump,
until the
I feel like
8th
Marco Rubio. He's
government
Secretary of
takes
State. That's
over.
kind of his job.
and then we go to war with them.
Somebody.
Denazify
I
them.
think there needs to be a
That's like
babysitter,
Russian war with
or a
them.
mediator, or a witness at least.
And at
I
that
just don't know
point,
why Zelensky didn't just go to
is
like have him in
alliance with Russia, so now
Alaska.
we're
He wasn't
fighting
invited.
And Russia.
But why?
Anyway,
Well, because we've met with Zelensky already, right? And we've heard what his needs are, and then we've told him some of his needs are stupid, and he needs to shut up. And so then, so we're like, all right, Putin, are you open to ending the war? And he's like, yeah. Oh,
Spotify, that's another one.
what would you like?
But
like, how?
hey,
What
friends,
do you need to end the
definitely do
war?
like,
So now
subscribe
he
to
said
the
his
post,
part, and you go, and you talking about like, that's a big ass. That one's okay though. Like, maybe you work through a couple. We can settle for this. It's like, okay, well that's a fine ask, you know.
Give the people.
Well, let me talk to the other
information,
fellas.
Being Meister.
You know, and so
And
then
the
you
fact
bring
of the
other
day,
people in the fold.
The shortest
Sometimes,
history, in fact, lasted
too many cooks in the
38
kitchen.
minutes.
You know, if you're trying to get something done,
Zanzibar War of
especially when you know
1896.
that one of the people is
on
problematic.
British forces bombarded
I mean, just think of something as stupid as an associate, like a condo or house board meeting, right? Sometimes they're poorly attended and they go
fire
very well. And you just go, all right, let's talk about this. Everyone's like, doo. And sometimes there's somebody that just jumps in and they
So
just
that's it.
derail everything
Here on
constantly.
out,
And then you go, well, if I'm going to get
37-minute
something
wars
done,
always have.
maybe I should just
All we
talk to
have
one
do.
person about this specifically, at least about the logistics, you know? Like, whatever our hopes and dreams. Cool. Thanks for that. As far as doing the actual steps to get there, I'm going to talk to one person who's competent, you know? So that's what I think. I think just he wasn't invited. And so once they saw that Putin was serious about peace and had some ideas, it's like, all right, well, let's bring this to the fellas and see what it'd do, you know? So I don't know. I'm constantly an optimist. I hope that this goes well. I hope we see peace. That would be great. We do need to normalize relations with Russia. I've seen all these videos on like Instagram and stuff. If you have one thing to tell the Americans, what would you like to say? And there's all these like Russian 20-somethings be like, oh, we're actually very nice people. We're not bad guys and all that stuff. And that's the reality. Like, there's a lot of very normal, like, it's very normal over there. We have to keep an eye on Russia, just like we have to keep an eye on China, just like we have to keep an eye on Israel and England and all of them, But it's like, let's normalize relations.
And ourselves.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. Like, citizens need to keep an eye on their government. Or the government that seeks to rule over them. But it's one of those things. It's like, look, let's normalize relations. Let's get some trade going, McDonald's and all that. Yeah, there's going to be conflict. We're not going to agree on everything. You're going to support stuff we don't support. But maybe there doesn't have to be threat of nuclear war floating in the air. Maybe we can sell things to each other and just aim for peace. Iran has been taken out for better or for worse. And, it's for better. Just the steps that got us there. I guess we'll see if it's for better in about 20 years. But either way, it's like that's a Russian, maybe not proxy, but a Russian ally that perhaps they also, much like many of us, thought was stronger than they are. And so once they kind of fell apart, lost all their nuclear engineers, their drone manufacturing facilities, their missile manufacturing facilities, all this kind of stuff, you go, well, that sucks, And like in this war with Ukraine, you go like, well, China's our buddy, right, China? Well, that sucks. So maybe you go like, all right, we nibble off some. We're going to nibble off some more. But for now, we're good. And Ukraine goes, how do we know they're never going to do it again? And so we'll make something. Maybe if we get 10 years of peace, maybe Russia does again. Or maybe within the next 10 years, Ukraine becomes a Russian ally again. And we don't have to treat them like an enemy until the Azov government takes over. And then we go to war with them to denazify them, just like Russia went to war with them to denazify them. And at that point, maybe Azov is aligned with Russia, so now we're fighting Ukraine and Russia for the Azov. Anyway, that was my concern and protection. All right, I think we're going to wrap for the week. Remember to like and subscribe, do the alerts, do it on YouTube, do Rumble, do all the things. Follow us on the Instagrams and the Twitters. Yeah, the Rumbles, I said. What was it? Spotify. That's another one we do. But tell your friends. And definitely do the like, subscribe thing. It does help us in the algorithm. Like our stuff on Instagram. That is also helpful. I think these are all the words I'm supposed to say at the end of these. Give the people some information, Bean Meister.
Random fact of the day. The shortest war in history, fun fact, lasted 38 minutes. The Anglo-Zanzibar War of 1896. On August 27th, British forces bombarded Zanzibar's Beit al-Hakum Palace after Sultan Khalib bin Bargash refused to step down. The palace caught fire somehow, and the Sultan fled within 38 minutes, ending the war.
Zanzibar! So that's it. Remember, from here on out, 37-minute wars is all we have. That's all we have to do. Do it for Zanzibar!